I would even say, they say when you're chopping down a tree, if you got an hour to chop down a tree, they say take 55 minutes sharpening your axe and 5 minutes swinging on a tree, which means it is best to strategically plan what it is you're gonna do. So take some time, and for a lot of us, take some time just thinking about what is it that I wanna do, who is it that I'm trying to become, and what is it is gonna help me to become that person. Spend that time doing that, and once you come out what I call the lab, once you come out of the lab, now you know exactly what you need to be doing and how you need to be doing. But a lot of times we're so busy, we just go out there and I'm just gonna figure it out while I'm on the way.
Yeah.
You waste a lot of time and resources that way.
What's up, guys? My name is Gene Johnson, and welcome to the Geno J Show. I am your host, and on this podcast, I interview other successful entrepreneurs with real life experience. And on this episode, I have a very special guest for you. We're going to get into entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about wins and losses and give you a lot of good tools and tricks and keys to help you excel in your journey towards entrepreneurship. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my special guest today, Mr. Charles King.
There he is. What's going on?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Man, nice to meet you in person. Appreciate you being on the show. Heard a lot about you through mutual friends. So excited, man, just to have a dope conversation over a game of pool about entrepreneurship, but talking about real stuff that matters, man. You shoot pool?
I shoot a little bit. I'm not an expert, but I shoot a little bit.
Well, me either, man. Because you are the guest,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna hand you that stick, and I'm gonna let you do the honors of going ahead and getting the party started.
Okay.
So with that being said, man, who is Charles King, man? Tell me a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay. Well, I'm Charles King. First of all, and I appreciate you, Gene, for having me on your show as well. So I'm Charles King, born and raised here in Atlanta. I'm a Grady baby. For those who are familiar with Atlanta, you know, we always say if you're not a Grady baby, you're really not from Atlanta. But I'm a Grady baby, born and raised. Went to Washington High School, took a year in college at Clark, Atlanta. I worked here in Atlanta for a while, man, until I got into this industry we're going to talk about today.
Awesome, awesome. Tell us a little bit about the industry you're in and how did you get started in that industry?
Sure. So the industry I'm in, Gene, is the beauty industry. And as you know, all of us cross the path of the beauty industry in some shape, form, or manner. The beauty industry, when you mention that, most people just think about hair care. But it's hair care, it's nails, it's skin care as well. And every profession has to cross that. So if you're a doctor, you know, you need a haircut. If you're male, if you're female, you need your hair done. But also, I tell people it's a great industry because every person born that's alive or dead, they got to cross the beauty industry. If you're having a funeral services, your loved one, you got to get the hair done. You got to get the nails done. So no matter how you look at it, you got to cross that beauty industry.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, man. You're right. When you die, you're going to be in that casket looking good.
That's right.
Male or female. And I got 4 daughters. And I'm understanding how expensive it is with women. Because it's not just your hair.
It's not
just your nails.
It's not.
It's eyelashes. It's skin care.
Yeah.
It's Botox and this and that.
Yes.
So yeah, I can see how that could be a huge business, man.
Absolutely.
Huge business.
And you said you have 4 daughters. So I have 1. I can only imagine. So that's 4. Man, that's deep. And even with the 1, talking about daughters, my daughter's now, she's getting ready to graduate from high school. And so tomorrow she's going to prom. So, you know, she's getting the nails done tomorrow, she's getting the hair done, all of those things that you mentioned. Now, you mentioned Botox earlier. A lot of females get that. We're not going to get into that, not on my time.
Well, awesome, man. It's on you, brother. Go ahead and bless the table with the break. I know we have some mutual friends in common. Good friend, Michael, and you guys used to work at.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that experience that you had working for that company and maybe some lessons that you've taken away?
Good deal. So yes, I worked with since 1998. So that's going to be about 24 years. But prior to working with my brother, Ivy, he worked with Michael Murray,
Okay.
who was at Bronner before that. So my brother Mike worked together for years with Darryl Bronner. 2 years later, my brother started a hair care company called Vision 2000. And it was a hair care product where they sold relaxer shampoos and conditioners as well. So at the time, I was working at Georgia State University moving furniture.
Okay.
And at the same time, this is also my first year at Clark as well. So my brother asked me for a better opportunity. You know, he said, hey, I got an opportunity for you, you know, a nice proposal for you. This way, if you take it, you won't have to move furniture. You can see things from a different perspective, but not only that, you know, you can cut your own paycheck. You can travel, you can meet people. So of course, Gene, it sounded all delightful and all great at the same time, but there was one thing that was stopping me. And that one thing, Gene, it was fear. It was fear. You know, they said fear is false evidence appearing real. Well, I can tell you, your perception has a huge impact on your reality. And with that, although I wanted to travel, I wanted to meet new people, I wanted to write my own check, but that fear is something I had never done before. So he had been in the industry for a while, but asking me to do something I've never done, to step in a zone that I've never played in, that fear was in there. So after him asking me to do that, I waited about 6 months before I truly responded and said yes, because I didn't know how to tell him I was scared. I didn't know how to tell him that. Him being an entrepreneur for about 5 years himself and working with Bronner, I didn't know how to tell him that. So I finally mustered up the nerve to tell him, hey, I would love to do it, but I don't know how. And I think, Gene, that was probably one of the best things I could have ever said to come out of my mouth. I didn't know how. And once I told him that, then and only then we were able to start this, this career off in the beauty industry. So I started in '98 as a sales rep. And I got some great training from Michael Murray, who was another mentor as well, and also a mutual friend of yours, and also from Ivy at the same time. So here I am, you know, got my training wheels on, learning, falling, failing, learning, falling, failing, and the process goes on and on and on and on. But at the same time, I don't call failure a failure. And I either say you either win or you learn. And at that time, I was learning. And so every failure, I tried to learn a lesson from it. And I got experiences from it. So with that, each day, each month, each year, I got better and better at my craft. And I remember Michael Murray going into a salon with me in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I was selling products for the first time. He grabbed the product for me. I knew the products, but the thing was going into a salon to try to sell these products, that combo, products, myself, and the salon with all the beautiful women in there, I didn't know how to put all that together and come out with a great presentation. So as we went in, Gene, we went in with the products and everything. And one thing we used to practice, Gene, was you go in and do your introduction, you do your greeting, you do your presentation, and you do your close. I knew this like the back of my hand. But of course, when you're going in and you're playing around in a fearful place, you lose everything. So I went in, got tongue twisted, I lost my thoughts at the same time. And as I was losing my thoughts talking to the young lady, Michael Murray swiftly just moved in, as I was stumbling, came in and finished the presentation for me. But here's the lesson. Once we walked out of the salon and got into the car, he said, okay, you did? He said, you did okay. You messed up, but that's okay. Here's what you did wrong. And then he showed me what I did wrong and how to overcome that in the car before we got to the next salon.
Yeah, that's a dope story, man. Speaking of fear, we all have fear of something.
That's right.
And it is fearful and scary to get out there on your own. Whether it's starting your own business or going back to school or getting educated on something.
That's right.
Why do you think fear holds so many people back, man?
I think one of the main reasons fear holds people back, it was something that we were brought up with. I think, now when we're kids, when we're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it seems like we're fearless. Nothing stops us. But I think we adapt this perception that because of fear, although fear is a natural reaction, it's a natural emotion, we adapt and adopt these emotions, and these emotions are transferred and translated to our brains to saying, you can't do that. So I think it's something that starts small. And speaking of that, Gene, I think the way that I kind of got out of mind over the years, my mom was a Sunday school teacher at a church with my dad as well. And my mom, by her being a Sunday school teacher, she used to give me Easter speeches, Christmas speeches, and I would have to play a character in a Christmas play. So by her giving us these speeches at a very young age, while we were young, were we scared to do these speeches in front of the entire church? Absolutely, but she pushed us until we got better and better and better. So that's where fear really took hold and took place in my life, was in church, because she was pushing me to say speeches and to play a part or a character in front of people that I did not know, and I definitely didn't want to be there, not for that. So I think with her continuing to push me, and my dad continuing to push me, it helped develop confidence while going through that process. So I think so many people just adopt that, and they play this over and over and over in their minds over the years as they are aging and getting older, and they don't do anything to undo or to untrain that behavior. They don't do anything. And that's why I tell people personal development is everything.
Guys, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you smash that like button. It's going to help the channel out. And if you want to level up, check out our membership. It's less than $1 a day. It is, and it does start when you're, young. And I'll give you a little bit about my backstory. My dad, growing up, he was one of them parents that said, you always can do anything you put your mind to. And that's the way we was raised and brought up. And now that I'm an adult, in terms of me taking risk in business, I don't have some of those fears because of the way I was brought up.
That's right.
Now I look back at, some cousins and some other people, and I just start to assess stuff as an adult. And a lot of times it could be a grandparent or an uncle. Because growing up, somebody said, boy, you ain't gonna be shit when you grow up. Yeah. Look at you just like your daddy. And that stuff gets instilled into your brain.
That's right.
So I'm thankful and I'm blessed. I had a father and a mother who always encouraged me when I was young, because when I set my mind to do something, I know it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be work, whatever, but I'm not afraid to fail. I'm afraid to try. So it does start. And it can start when you're small, because some of that stuff gets developed into your mind.
It gets stuck.
So as adults and fathers and mothers, we have to instill that into our kids. Like even now, like even my wife, like her parents are more like, don't take risks, don't do this, you're gonna get hurt. And with our older daughter, it's like they're scared to do everything. But the younger daughter, we just like, go do this and go do that. So she has a different temperament about risk, because we just let her just kind of figure it out on her own. We don't tell her, we don't fear her so she don't get scared of stuff. So we're learning how to be better parents just because of our upbringing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's an awesome story. And I have that as well. And I think what was given to me and the experiences, lessons that I got, I poured that into my kids as well. And likewise, my wife as well. My wife as well, with the boys, and I have 2 boys and a girl, Gene. And with those 2 boys, I was the one, because I started out as an entrepreneur at a very young age, and she worked for a company for a long time. So she didn't get a chance to exercise her entrepreneurship as much as I did, because I was out there working for a company, but at the same time getting told no. But also remembering back when I was at church, mom telling me to get up there and say Easter speech, stand up straight, do this. I was able to execute that while I was out in the field. And you mentioned that when those people around you at a very young age were telling you, you won't be able to do this, you won't amount to this. And we had people to do that at the same time. But thank God, I had some great people around me, mom and dad, and brother, uncles, aunts. I had a lot of people around me. They were my crew. They were my camp. They were my staff, right? To continue to tell us that we could do any and everything that we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I could see how fear sticks with people, especially if you don't work on it. I always say, you know, our mindset, I look at it as a muscle. And if we don't exercise that muscle by reading, watching podcasts, educational podcasts, and if we're not going to conferences, if we're not doing things of that nature that's going to help us long-term mentally, we're going to stay right here. Those muscles are going to stay weak. So when that thing called fear hits you, no matter if it's the fear of success, if it's the fear of public speaking, no matter what it is, the fear of being around people, the fear of being social, when that thing hits you, it's going to take you out. So you got to exercise that muscle. You got to read more. You got to continue to do those things because you never master it.
No.
You never master it, but you do get better.
Yeah. Those are all some great points. So that was actually my next question. What are some things people can do to overcome fear? But backing up a step, when you finally told made a commitment after 6 months to take the job, what did that do for you mentally?
Oh man, wow. The thing it did for me, Gene, first of all, I was really excited. Mm-hmm. I was we call it ignorance on fire in network marketing. And I've done network marketing as well, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But once I got the opportunity, it was an opportunity to have a better life from moving furniture. And at the same time, my oldest son now, who's 30, he was 1 year old when this happened. So I wanted a better opportunity for myself, also for my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and for my 1 year old son. So I knew working at this university, I didn't want to work there and retire there, some 30, 40 years later, because I've seen people who have been there 30 and 40 years. No shade on them, but I didn't want that to be me. So when I got the opportunity to get out of there, I said yes after I got to the next level. And after I started getting the trainings, the teachings, Gene, I felt like I was becoming Superman, if you will, in a way. Not that I knew everything, because I didn't, but because I had that staff around me, I had some great mentors, some great coaches, which is what you asked me about, how did I get over those things? It was those mentors. It was those coaches. It was mom. Mom was my first mentor. My dad was my second mentor, and my mom did network marketing as well. And so having those coaches and mentors around you, man, you need around you 24/7 if you can. But if you can't, here we are in 2024, you got podcasts, you got Google, you got AI, you can pull up affirmations every day and each and every day. So first thing I would say, Gene, you gotta do to help you get over those fears is to believe in yourself. That's the first thing. How do you believe in yourself, Charles? Well, one, you have to talk to yourself. You have to get in the mirror and speak to yourself. I am Charles King. I am successful. I can do anything that I put my mind to doing. I am wealthy, although you may not be wealthy right now. I am rich. You got to call those things as though they were. And call those things. Once you start speaking those things and believing those things, they start coming to you. Yep. Your job is only to believe and to speak it. Your job is not to worry about how it's going to happen. And that's where most people get stuck.
Yeah, and that's so very true, man. The power of manifesting your thoughts and actions and then believing into it, because the world is filled of abundance, and it's all energy. So whatever energy you're putting out is the same energy that you receive.
That's right.
So when you put out good energy, you just never know who God might put in your life or the next relationship. You always one relationship away from that next big deal, whether it's money, whether it's connections to something else.
That's right.
So putting it out there is definitely key, man. I know you was at for how many years now?
24 years.
24 years. After you went into, was it entrepreneurship on your own?
Entrepreneurship. Well, I started before I left. So now this is a whole story in itself. So I left 4 times.
Okay.
Okay, and the boss asked me to come back 4 times. Nobody has my story. We'll talk about that in another podcast.
Okay.
Get good and deep in it. But with that, becoming an entrepreneur in between those times, which was very helpful for me, because after the first time I was downsized. Okay, I'll say that. The first time I was downsized. So, a lot of people say downsized, I'm gonna say fired, okay? Didn't know why, anything of that nature, but hey, you just gotta pick up the pieces and keep it moving. So after that happened, I remember saying, well, I've been working for this company for 4 years, selling all these products for all these years. I've learned some things, I've met some people, I've traveled some places. What I did, I collected all of my relationships and all of my data and all the people and all of my experiences. How can I equate these things that I've learned into my own business? So what I did, Gene, I started my own distributorship. I started selling other people's products. I started selling hair extensions, flat irons, things of this nature, because I knew a lot of vendors and manufacturers. I reached out to them and said, hey, I'm no longer here, such. I'd love to do this. And they knew I had a huge following. So, man, it worked out. So that was really my first taste of really being an entrepreneur without having a 9-to-5 behind me. So it was either sink or swim, but I got out there and made it happen because, look, I didn't have what my brother called, I didn't have that automatic check coming in anymore. I had to make it happen, and it turned out beautiful.
All right, guys, so if you're enjoying this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And if you want to take it another step further, join our membership. It's less than $1 a day.
Even with going out on your own the first time around, what was that experience like? Even though it turned out good, what were some of the because it's a different story when you work for somebody else and working for yourself.
Yes, it is.
But what were some of those pitfalls and challenges, and even beyond that, some of the CEO stuff you had to think about? Because when you're working for somebody, you're plugged into a system, you're a technician.
Yeah.
But when you're on your own, you got to be the entrepreneur, the technician, the accountant, all that stuff until you get your team together. So talk a little bit about that part.
Gene, we're going to dive deep on this one. So after leaving a 9-to-5, leaving that automatic money, a check if you will, like you said, you are the president, CEO, you're the CFO, you are the account manager, you are HR, and you are the salesperson at the same time. You are one-man shop. So when I left, I was excited about going to the next level. But again, fear, that thing we talked about. You're thinking about all the bills you got coming up that are on automatic, right? You got car insurance, you got rent, you got all of these things that are coming, no matter if you have that job or not, they're coming in the next 30 days. So I had to figure it out quick. So some of the things that hit me was the fear, but I knew I didn't have a backup plan. The backup plan was me getting out there, figuring it out, and making it happen. That was the backup plan. That was my plan A, that was my plan A, and that was my plan A. So I had to get out there. So some of those pitfalls were getting out there, calling these companies, first of all, telling them, hey, I'm no longer at this company. That's where they knew me from. I'm no longer with the company, this and that. But actually, they was excited about it because they wanted to really give me all of their products and make me be like a brand ambassador, if you will, to sell their product. But, of course, you got to talk about pay, commissions. You got to think about all of these things. So after coming up with contracts and what I would do it for, because nothing is more valuable than our time. So I didn't want to go work for another person like that where I have to be on the clock. But at the same time, I wanted to sell products where I can make a profit and still have enough to pay bills, but all at the same time learn a new skill of trade in selling a new product. So that fear, that's one of the biggest things. And I tell people are stopped in their tracks because of fear and the lack of belief in themselves. So at this point, because I had worked for Bronner all these years and I had sold a lot of products in those 4 years when Michael Berg was there, we won third place in the largest year of selling registrations, which is hair show tickets, in the history of. At that time, I think Bronner had been around maybe like 57 years. But that particular year, 1999, we sold more tickets than they ever have in the entire history of the company. So we came in third. That sounded like that ain't a lot. But first place sold over $100,000 worth of tickets.
Oh, wow.
Second place sold like 93. We sold, I think, like 89,000 or something like that. And then fourth place. We weren't last, but nobody remembers second, third, and fourth. They only remember first. But I will say, I still have that plaque at home doing that. So knowing what was possible, knowing that if I could do it for another company, I can do it for myself. So I took those teachings, God, family second, and business third. I took those same teachings and principles into my own, because Bronner Brothers has always said, this is a place we don't want you to retire from. We want to show you, we want to teach you how to fish versus just giving you a fish. That's the concept. Now, I ended up leaving in 2022 retired, but that's after a lot of hardship experiences and everything else. So if you can deal with fear, manage fear, and if you can do that and work hard, be diligent, be persistent and resilient, you can overcome anything. You can overcome anything. So for me, those coachings, knowing that it's possible, and knowing I did not have a plan B, that was like my ticket. I had to make it happen. And I had a 1-year-old son.
Gotcha. It's on you.
Okay.
I forgot. Dope conversation, by the way. I guess you solid on strike. But you said that you worked with Bronner Brothers on 4 different occasions. What made you go back to Bronner Brothers after that first go around?
That's a great
So first of all, how long were you on your own, and then what made you transition back to them?
So although I left 4 different times, and I'll start with the first question. So the first time I got let go, I was on my own for 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I was an entrepreneur for 3 years. What made me come back was asked me to come back to the company after 3 years. And of course, being an entrepreneur for 3 years, that's a lot of time. It seems like 12 months is 24 months. Mm-hmm. It really does. But being out there on my own, following, learning, listening, getting trained, training, and learning how to do business. Because a lot of times you got a lot of hustlers out there, but then you got doing business. So I learned how to do business from at the same time. They used to give us expense checks. We had to learn how to budget. We had to learn how to forecast things of those nature. I had to equate those things into my own business. So while I was gone for 3 years, they asked me if I would come back because they needed a distribution manager. Now, I'm married as well, Gene. So, of course, when I got the call asking me if I would come back after being gone 3 years, of course, the wife, she was a little hesitant about it. She wasn't as fond about me going back as I was. So, and I had to explain to her, I said, well, baby, yeah, I can go do this, I can go do this, and continue to do this. And mind you, this entrepreneur business that I was doing, I wasn't like bringing the bag home, but I was making it happen. I was covering my bills that I had at the time. And I had a 1-year-old, and she worked as well, so that helped. I had a support system. So, but had it just been me by myself, it would have been a lot harder. So they asked me to come back. I told her my bigger vision. I said, well, working with the company, it offers a higher platform, a better platform for me to reach people. And with that, and at the same time, still get the trainings and the teachings that I need while I'm there, and being able to travel on someone else's dime while being able to better myself at the same time. So it worked in that way for me, and I'm grateful for because I know I learned so much from them, but it's the one that hired me when I came from working with my brother. He brought me on because Michael Murray introduced me to him. So after doing that, just think about what I've learned from them over the years. I went back, not just for them, I went back for me because I just felt like I could move a lot faster in reaching the goals that I had set personally for myself. And that was one of the reasons I went back. And I don't question why I went back. I truly believe that it was divine because For most people will just say, well, I'm just gonna keep it moving. I ain't going back. I'm not doing this, they let me go. And it wasn't that they let me go, it was the person that let me go. But at the same time, I got what I needed, because when I left, that was probably one of the best decisions that the guy could have made by letting me go. And I remember telling him, hey, I appreciate the opportunity, and you really blessed me by doing that. Those were my words verbatim. But when I left and stepped out in there, it was a big world out there waiting on me. And I went out there to learn as much as I can from whom I could.
Great story, man. You talked about or mentioned this, you said support system. How important is having a support system in entrepreneurship?
Wow. Still today, Gene, even as an entrepreneur yourself, even with your team, there's a quote that says, you alone, you are a force. But you and your team, that's a movement. You can do a lot on your own. You may know quite a bit, but you can't do everything. You can't do everything. And you shouldn't, because it'll stretch you out. That support system is everything. And I'm gonna go all the way back to your parents. Imagine being a 5-year-old boy or the young lady who's 5 years old, and you're out there in school, you wanted to run track, you want to play sports, you want to do things of this nature, but you don't have anybody in your ear to tell you, baby, you can do it. Baby, you can do it, even when you played your first Little League baseball game or whatever, and you struck out at the bat. The only people that's in your corner and that's gonna tell you something nice after you struck out 3 times, baby, you did good. You did real good, baby. Better time next time. Better luck next time. Only your parents will do that. Now the coach may be like, yeah, you missed it this time. I need you to do this. You should have did this. You should have did that. But the parents, through the good, the bad, and the ugly, they're gonna support you no matter what. So here we are in life today, in business, in whatever you're doing, you gotta have good coaching. You gotta have a good support system. I always say every coach needs a coach.
Guys, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you smash that like button. It's going to help the channel out. And if you want to level up, check out our membership. It's less than $1 a day.
Every coach needs a coach. I don't care who you are. If you go to Coach Deion Sanders, he talks about the coaches that were in his life all day long. Anybody that you mentioned, they got a coach. Les Brown, he had a coach. He talks about them all the time. Eric Thomas, he got a coach. Tony Robbins, he got a coach. They all have a coach. You gotta have those coaches because you don't know everything. And you gotta understand you don't know everything. There's something to be taught. We do not know everything. Even a 5-year-old child can teach you something. If you got the ability to listen. If you got the ability to listen. And listening is a hard skill because most people can't do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Most people can't do it. So having a coach, having that, I call them the staff, having that staff and having the support system is absolutely everything. I would not admonish anybody to go into business or doing anything. It's okay to do a business for yourself, but you gotta have somebody. You gotta have a team. I would not tell somebody to do it by yourself. That is not the way it was set up. Not to do it by yourself.
Cool. Transitioning along, 24 years, retired a few years ago, back into entrepreneurship. I know you said you're, doing some coaching, got some podcasts and stuff coming out. And again, anytime we go into any type of business, man, it's hard.
It's hard.
Tell me one of your biggest losses, whether it's business or personal, and then tell me what was the lesson behind that loss.
All right. So my biggest...
It's on you, brother.
Okay. My biggest loss is, and it's a loss, but I don't call it a loss. Okay, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The biggest loss for me is when I got downsized. That was my biggest one because, I had worked for this company for 4 years, so a lot of products, made a lot of money for the company, and at the same time again being let go for something you don't know. I'm okay with I've done something, let me know what I did so I can work on it. And then if I gotta move on, then that's fine, but let me know where I dropped the pieces. But that was one of the biggest letdowns for me. I won't call it a lot, but that was the biggest letdown. But when I left Gene, I had a fire in me. I said, I would never let another person or another company dictate what I can do, when I can do it, how I can do it, and how much I get paid. I would never give another company or person that much credit to dictate my life. So that was one of the biggest losses that I can even look back, even through all the stuff that I do, that was the biggest one, but that was also the biggest lesson. To let you know you could be as good as the next guy or even better, and you could still get let go. So if whoever's watching this, the biggest lesson or the biggest takeaway I want them to know is you can always be replaced. Always, no matter how good you think you are. You can always be replaced by someone. And here we are in the artificial intelligence world. AI is taking over a lot. But what it cannot do, they cannot duplicate another Charles King. You cannot duplicate relationships. You cannot duplicate great customer service, physical customer service. You cannot duplicate those things. So that loss for me, that was my fire. And that has been my fire. So it helped me develop personal development. Even when I started doing network marketing, I started working for a company called Artists International. We used to sell bodysuits, body garments for women.
I remember.
And the tagline was drop 3 sizes in 10 minutes. And I used to wear a polo shirt that said drop 3 sizes in 10 minutes. I would be in the bank line, a female would read it like, drop 3 sizes in 10 minutes? How do I do that? I'm glad you asked. So we have some garments that will take a person in a size 20, drop them from a 20 to a size 14.
Yeah, my cousin was selling them bodysuits back in the day. I think about 2008, 2010.
And that was one of the times I was let go.
They was going like hotcakes. I remember, we hosted a party for the bodysuits.
I made a fortune. But again, it was ignorance on fire. So, working with Artists International, again, I was able to build confidence. I was able to earn a living. I was able to travel, meet new people, and also be coached. I had several coaches. And one of my coaches was Miss Jane Bronner, who was Darryl Bronner's wife, and still a good friend today. She the one got me in network marketing. And she was a coach, didn't know much about the garments, but like I said, it was ignorance on fire. But I learned everything I need to know.
You just hit my ball, man.
Appreciate God, look, I done got so deep in it, G.
That's actually the second time.
Second time.
The first time I didn't say nothing.
Look, I know what I'm gonna have to do. So when I get good and deep in this conversation, I gotta stop and think. So, personal development is everything.
Yeah, right now, man, with YouTube and a lot of online courses, and I was reading something a few days ago, and I forgot how many billions of dollars people spend on education. Education is the biggest business in the world when you look at our school systems. And they said something like 6% a year, less and less students are going to college.
Yeah.
And I think the coaching industry right now was, I don't know, $20-30 billion business. But they were saying how in the next several years, it's going to be $100 billion industry. So coaching is very important, but finding the right coaching. Because online, it's hard to distinguish who's giving you good information versus who's giving you bad information. Because with AI and technology,
that's right,
man, people go have AI do something and
Yeah.
it looks good and sounds
It looks
good,
good, but
but
there's
it's
no-
not practical.
It's not
And
practical.
you're not gonna really learn it. Like I teach people how to build houses. I can give you a book and you can go read it, but how successful are you gonna be?
Yeah.
You know, you can read a book and learn how to build a plane, but you're not gonna get in and fly it.
You're not gonna get none of that.
So with that being said, with this day and age and everything's out there, we know coaching, mindset, all that stuff is important. Give me something else that you can think of that's needed for somebody to have success in a business, whether it's patience, whether it's money. Give me something that they need to think about that we don't normally think about, because there's gonna be a lot of pitfalls when we get into this business.
Yeah, it is. So things they're gonna need is, you mentioned the patience, and you're definitely gonna need patience. Even when you become successful, you're gonna need patience. So I mentioned earlier, you're gonna need to believe in yourself first. You're gonna need the diligence. You gotta know that whatever that goal is that you're setting out for, if that's your goal, that's it. Don't change it. Yeah, and I mentioned this earlier. Success to me is, a lot of people equate success to a certain amount of money, whether it be 6 figures, 7 figures, millionaire, billionaire. I don't equate success that way, and I haven't for some time now. Success to me is whatever you make up your mind to do, you write it down, and if that is the goal in which you want, you take the first step and the second step, and you keep stepping until you have achieved that goal. And once you've done that goal and you can check that thing off and say, I've done that, that is success. Now, everybody's definition of success is different, but just think about it. Your to-do list. We have several successes throughout the day. Even if it be, I need to run to the store today, I need to go to this store today, I need to go to the bank, I need to go make this deposit, I need to make this meeting. At the end of the day, if you can have checked all 4 of those things off, that was a successful day. Now, whatever your goals are, that's what's gonna make the difference in each individual. So if your goal is to make $1 million and you have a product, okay, how many products do you need to sell to get this? How much are you gonna have to invest in this to make this amount? How much do you have to reinvest in this to keep this company going? That's a whole nother goal and dream. But whatever you set your mind to doing, if you start out doing that thing and working on that, and don't change when it get hard, because it's gonna get hard. It's part of the process. I'm telling you, it's gonna get hard. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna get hard. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna make you wanna quit. Like somebody punched you in your mouth. You're gonna wanna quit. You're gonna wanna quit. You're gonna wanna quit. I can almost guarantee that. But, is it possible? Yes. Can it be done? Yes. Yes. Are you the one to it? Yes, you deserve it. You deserve it. If not you, then who? You deserve it, but you gotta know that. You gotta know that, whatever that goal is. So if you're gonna write it down, commit to it. Commit to it. Commit to not giving up on it or yourself. And when you can do that, you're gonna need that patience. You're gonna need that resilience and diligence and all of those things. You're gonna need your staff, your support. You're gonna need all of that. You're gonna need people around you who can tell you things like, I don't build houses, Geno. I don't build houses. But I know somebody who do. You feel me? So I'm powerful right now because I know somebody who does. Now, if you want to talk to me about sales, marketing, promotion, hair care products, I got you, Jim, all day long. That's what I do. But I don't just stay in my comfort zone. That's not how we grow. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Stop doing what you do all the time, every day, every year. Sometimes, Geno, I'm a right-handed. Sometimes I just sit down and write with my left because I want to work a different side of my mind. You feel me? I want to expand my brain. Sometimes I eat with my right hand. Sometimes I eat with my left. Just to expand my thinking, I'm making room to learn something new. You got to do that. Stop going home the same way. Go another way. You'll be surprised at some of the things that you see and the things that you learn. Take a walk and stop driving all the time in your neighborhood. So this is how we grow. We were meant to evolve. We were meant to grow. Stay out of our comfort zone. The comfort zone, if you want to stay in that comfort zone, you just want to be, pampered, baby, you want to, you want somebody to rub your back all the time, then you stay in your comfort zone. But if you want something better, you really want to live life to the fullest, living life to the fullest means taking risks. That's what that means to me. I mean, taking risks, not calculated risks, taking risks. There are risks. I'm sure you've done it too. You're in real estate. Sometimes you got to invest in stuff you don't know if you're going to make a profit. You don't even know if the deal is good or if it's as good as it looks. You don't know. That's why it's taking risks. Life is risky. Jim Rohn said, life is so risky you can't get out of it alive. You can't. But guess what? But that's what the excitement is. It's in the risk taking.
Yeah.
It's in the risk taking. That's where it is. That's what it's not, staying safe and tiptoe. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. Not even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you don't have a business, working at your 9 to 5, step outside of the box, learn something new.
All right, guys, so if you're enjoying this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And if you want to take it another step further, join our membership. It's less than $1 a day.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Because in real estate it's risky. Anything you do in life is risky. It's risky. Get on the highway driving home.
Yes,
all these crazy drivers. But one thing about real estate, especially being able to create your own inventory and build, you can control and dictate what you build there. Mm-hmm. So it's certain parts of town several years ago where they were just all craftsmen, and we started building like more modern and hybrid homes. It was a risk because people wasn't used to seeing some of that stuff. But once you take that risk and do it, you end up setting trends where people start following.
That's right.
I had a guy tell me, and I may be paraphrasing a long time ago, man, stop following the path of everybody else and learn to create your own path. So in real estate, you have to be ahead of the curve, you have to be an innovator, and you have to think outside the box, because a lot of times when it comes to housing, people don't know what they want until they see it. And the world is a lot smaller today than it was 10 years ago because everything's on Instagram, everything's online. So if you building the same stuff these big box builders building, then you technically don't get the same prices. So to make money and to make real good money in real estate, you have to be able to bring a dope product to the table that is different from what everybody else see. Bank shot.
Absolutely.
So with the coaching, how long you been doing the coaching?
I've been coaching for 2.5 years now.
Okay.
Consulting a lot longer, but the coaching 2 years. And now I'm getting ready to take it to another level. So starting June, I'll be speaking more at different events, doing trainings at corporations, things of that nature. So what I had to do, Gene, I've been asking to go to the next level. So I've been searching and seeking, what do I need to do to go to the next level? So I found a person, so I have a publicist now that'll be booking me for different events. But what I gotta do, Gene, I gotta make sure I'm right. Yeah. I gotta make sure I'm studying my craft, making sure that I'm the best product to deliver this information. I got the information, but I got to make sure that I can relate that information and that they get it. And so when they leave that particular event or conference, that I've given them all the tools and keys necessary to take their personal lives and business to the next level.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And right now, I think, like you said earlier, mentors and coaches are so overlooked, whether it's whatever it is.
That's right.
When you think about the greatest athletes in the world, Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh, come on now. Yes,
everybody
he did.
got coaches, man.
Everybody has a
you
coach.
need that person that's gonna push you and tell you when you're wrong, and You know, because if all we do is just work on what we're good at, we're gonna never get better at nothing.
And you said something just there, because some people think a coach just tells you what you want to hear. Now, a coach tells you the good and the bad, and you got to be open for correction. That's another thing. Now, that's a whole nother podcast, Geno, because mindset, again, pride and ego, it can rob you of everything we've talked about at this pool table. It can rob you of every single thing. That pride and ego, because you can become so successful and you made it all the way to the top. And we've seen some people on TV, we've seen it in different parts of our lives where people have made it all the way to the top and then it just failed in one day. It just failed. But a lot of time, ego and pride robs you of those things because you don't know how to deal with people, or you're too arrogant. Now, I think I'm a confident person. I'm not an arrogant person. I think I'm confident, but not arrogant. And there's a difference. Confidence is knowing that you are good in your ability, but you're still open for improvement to get even better. Arrogance is you have this goal, or not goal, you have this ability, and you feel that no one can teach or show you anything, and you're good right where you are. It's actually a comfort zone, but you're good where you are. But because you decline correction, or you decline to be helped, you would rather operate in the space of arrogance. And I think that's a very poor place to be. My 94-year-old uncle, he passed away in 2017, Robert Howard. He said this statement: if you think poverty is bad, try ignorance. Think about that. If you think poverty is bad, try ignorance. Poverty is pretty bad, but see, if you got a mindset, you got a good head on your shoulder, you can get out of poverty. You can make some money. I'm a living example. You're a living example. But if you're ignorant, that means you don't want to know nothing. You don't want to learn nothing. Can't nobody show you nothing, and can't nobody tell you nothing. That's a bad place to be. That's a horrible place to be, and you'll always be there. So you always want to be in a place of learning. Always. And if you're, like they say, if you're the sharpest knife in the drawer, you're in the wrong drawer. Because I think I'm going to start asking some questions about some real estate.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I'm right here with the cat that can give me the info.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Take the shot on you, man.
Okay.
Definitely enjoyed everything you've said today.
Right.
A lot of good nuggets.
Yeah, man. You know, we just want someone to be able to listen to this podcast and take what we've experienced already, be able to take this into their own lives and apply it where it need be. Because it don't make sense to try to figure everything out on your own, not when somebody's already done it.
Yep. And we say this all the time when we do our boot camps and events and stuff. What we offer in our coaching program helps you accelerate and get you there a lot faster. If you wanted to, drive to go to New York and you're in Atlanta, you got several options. You can walk there, you can ride a bike, you can catch a Greyhound, or you can get on this private jet and fly there.
That's right.
And that's more important now than ever before, because by the time you learn something the hard way through the lessons, what you learn could be outdated.
That's right.
Especially with technology.
Oh man, every day.
Because what you're doing today
could be old tomorrow.
Could be old tomorrow. The same way you feel today could be old tomorrow.
That's right.
Like, look at technology. A lot of things have changed.
A lot of things have changed.
Things are going to continue to change, especially with AI.
Yeah.
So we always have to be evolving, even within our own business.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, man, either evolve or become extinct.
That's it. Quick. And don't get me wrong, AI is good. And you can use it to your benefit, but you just got to know how. You still have to stay on your ground.
Watch that game on you.
I see.
So speaking of the beauty industry, man, I'm sure it's a $1 trillion industry. If somebody out there thinking about getting into the beauty industry, what are some avenues that they can Cause it's more stuff now than before. Like I see nail techs and eyelashes.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mike Murray, you know, he has the salon suite over there.
Just 10.
And, yeah, just 10.
Uh-huh.
You know, so what are some of the avenues somebody can get into the beauty industry and maybe make some money in the beauty?
The first thing, Geno, is I would tell them to study the market first. Study the market, do some market research, study the lane they're trying to go into. If it's going to be a hair care product, you want to study ingredients, because right now, you know, you got this natural wave, then you got the keratin wave, you got amino acid wave. So study the market depending on something that you love. That's the other thing. And we didn't really talk a lot about whatever you do, make sure that you love it. Make sure you love it. We skipped that one, and that is key. Make sure you love it, because a lot of people, a lot of times, they start doing things because they're chasing the bag. We hear it all the time, chasing the bag, but they don't know what they're doing. And if you don't love it, you'll quit it. Once you get tired, and you just don't want to do it no more. So I equate asking people what's your why to that's what you love. When people say, I don't know my purpose, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, I just ask them, what do you love to do, and what would you do if you did not get a paycheck for it? That's what I ask them for. And when they can tell me that thing, if they say they like fried chicken, I love fried chicken. I love making people smile. I love making good fried, hot, crispy chicken. And when I see the eyes light up, I say, and that is the thing that you love, and that's what you need to do. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. You can make chicken sandwiches. You can make the best herbs for your chicken. And you could be a caterer. You can start a cooking business. You can do a food truck. It's a lot of things that you can do. But because you love it, you will continue to do it even when it gets hard, when it gets tired. You'll stay up. You'll stay up 24 hours trying to come up with a recipe for people to taste and eat your food. A lot of people in the industry, the food industry, they love people pleasing. They love for people to taste their food. And they actually, when they take the first bite, they watch how delightful the taste is. That's love. So whatever you decide to do, make sure you love it first. Don't chase the bag. Because you can chase the bag. You can leave this job, and then you're going to start doing it because everybody else is doing it. But then when you've tried it, and you figure out that's not what you're supposed to be doing, or that's what you don't want to do, you're going to quit. And guess what? You're on to the next thing. You waste time, money, resources, and everything else. So make sure you love it and you like it at the same time.
Yeah, that's true, man, because that just got me thinking back to some of my earlier jobs, man. I quit so many jobs. I sold craft man at Dead, trying to make some money. Sold cars, sold living wills and trust. You're right. As soon as it get hard, you don't love it, you out of it.
Yeah.
I remember I was selling cars at CarMax, and I was down in Florida, Orlando.
Okay.
Man, I hated that job. I hated it. Man, as soon as I got my pay, they had some event in Miami. It might have been Jack the Ripper or something in Miami.
Oh, man.
Man, I got paid on a Friday at 2 o'clock. Man, they used to feed us every Friday.
Wow.
Man, I ate my lunch, I got my check. I headed to Miami. I was out of there.
I love it. So you know, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, Geno. You gotta love it.
You gotta love it.
And I would even say, they say when you're chopping down a tree, if you got an hour to chop down a tree, they say take 55 minutes sharpening your axe and 5 minutes swinging on a tree, which means it is best to strategically plan what it is you're gonna do. So take some time, and for a lot of us, take some time just thinking about what is it that I want to do, who is it that I'm trying to become, and what is it is going to help me to become that person. Spend that time doing that. And once you come out what I call the lab, once you come out of the lab, now you know exactly what you need to be doing and how you need to be doing. But a lot of times we're so busy, we just go out there and I'm just going to figure it out while I'm on the way.
Yeah.
You waste a lot of time and resources that way.
But that too has to be balanced. You want to spend some time in the lab.
Yeah, but you can't.
But you don't want to be in the lab too long because a lot of people, I'm getting better at that, man. Because used to, I have an idea. I'm going to research it and I'm going to put some energy in it. Maybe I could probably spend a little bit more time in the lab.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of guy that if I'm building a plane,
Yeah, you gotta get out.
I'm gonna get it in the air. It might not have all the seats in it, the AC. I'll figure that part out later.
That's right. Yeah,
but I'm at least get it in the air
That's
first
right.
and then figure
That's
out.
right.
So you gotta know how to balance that.
You gotta balance that.
And I say that to say when I first started real estate back in 2008, there was this guy, we went to the same real estate class, we ended up joining the same brokerage. This was January 2008. I sold my first house, I think in August of 2008. This guy went to every single meeting, he went to every single training. He didn't even attempt to sell a house. He knew the real estate guard contract word for word. He knew every law. I say that to say he was in the lab too long.
Yeah, too long.
Too long.
Oh.
Corner pocket for game. Woo, stop. That should be easy. Easy bunny.
Yeah, you can't stay that lab long. And the other thing I talk about in my book, Geno, I got a book called Overcoming the Unknown. And it talks about my experiences, things of that nature. I tell people, yeah, you can't stay in the lab long because it'll turn into procrastination.
Yes, exactly.
And that's not a good thing. So with overcoming your unknowns, when you get that idea, I truly believe when God gives you an idea, he gave it to you because he knows you're capable. But once you get the idea, you do have to get up, get out, and get things going. And I believe that he gives you what you need as you're moving. But if you're just trying to stay in the lab and stay in there till you figure it out, it ain't gonna happen. Because you're not gonna get it all in the lab. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. Now you can figure out first step and then say, okay, let me get going. And then I'll make the first step and then he'll give you that as you're moving. But to try to figure everything out, and that's another thing that keep most people bound. They try to be perfectionists. They try to perfect everything, when it don't look good enough. It doesn't feel right. Or I can't do this because I don't have this, I don't have all the resources. Stop it. Do your part. Do your part, and the rest will be added as you go. So you're absolutely right. You can't stay in the lab too long. You got to get out of there. You got to get out of there.
One of the things that I'm learning now, even more than ever before, is that, and I've known this, but every time you go into another level, it takes another set of skills, it takes another team, it takes a whole different, whatever you had before, it takes something totally different.
That's right.
And you're gonna hit that roadblock, but that roadblock is there for a reason.
Is there for a reason.
But once you figure out how to get through that roadblock and you take that roadblock head on, you're gonna get what you need to get to the next level.
That's right.
Too many times people quit because
at the roadblock.
they at the roadblock.
Yeah.
But it's on you to figure out how to get to that roadblock.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to figure out how to get through it and you stay in it, you'll get through it.
Yeah,
you'll get through it.
Just talked about that yesterday.
You'll get through it.
And those roadblocks are purposely placed there for us to make us better, stronger, and wiser. And if we can understand that and embrace that, Geno, we'll be good. And know once you hit the roadblock, we all will. We got some roadblocks waiting on us right now. I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, next week. They're there. But because of who we are, we know that those roadblocks are placed there for us for some reason. There's something to be learned from that roadblock. And if you can embrace that mindset, not you personally, but if people can embrace that every roadblock is there for us to learn from it.
Yep.
And once you learn the lesson, he's preparing you for that test that's coming, and you're gonna need what was in that roadblock. Now, if you really want to equate AI or special intelligence or intelligence technology to that, that's how games are set up. When you play the game, you gotta get to this level, get to this level, get to this level. But until you pass this level, you can't go to the next level. Life is the same way.
Man, I'm going through some stuff right now, even in my own business. I mean, it's been really successful. And one of the biggest things in business, of course, is your payroll. That's a big expense. Marketing, that stuff. But payroll is always your biggest expense.
Always.
And so the way I set up a lot of my real estate deals in the past, even when I start raising money, you know, I would raise the money. Of course, I would do the deal, find the deal, and, you know, do the loan on the deal. But one of the ways I raised money was it's the way I structured my deals. So let's just say I have a deal, we can make $100,000 on that deal. I present it to you. your buy-in to get into the deal is $100,000. Cool. No problem for me to get the money, but the way I structured it, I would structure it where I would pay my investor 30%, I would keep 70%.
Okay.
Which is cool.
That's cool.
You invest in 100 to make 30,000. That's cool. I'm doing all the work, I get 70.
Absolutely.
But I realized that model can only grow me so far because out of that 70,000, I still have office, payroll, rent, hiring, scaling. So I have to go through a project for 12 months before I see any of that profit.
Yeah.
So started reading, started educating myself. And this is all like in the last several months. So now one of the things that I'm switching to is instead of me keeping 70, I'm gonna give my investor the 70. You know,
so that you can keep.
Yeah. So it might even be 65. But at the end of the day, you still get your profit.
Yeah.
But instead of me getting my line on the back end, I'll just build my GC fee in on the project. So same money goes into money.
Same money.
It's just how you collect it.
That's right.
You know, and it's like after reading and figuring some stuff out, it's like, man, I should have been doing this a few years ago. Because now that helps me scale because now I got money to pay. Because at the end of the day, rates go up. You might have a property where you can't sell it. Raise the money and keep it or whatever, which is fine. You'll make money on it long term, but you just gotta change the strategy.
You gotta change it. You don't know what you don't know.
That's exactly right. You don't know what you don't know.
That's it.
Oh, I missed an easy shot.
You supposed to have that one.
I was supposed to have that one. I put too much on it. I tried to get what they call spody. I put too much on it.
Shake that up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it helps you get through that roadblocks and level up, man. And it's funny too because you know how like you going through something in business or going through something in life, and at the time it seemed hard, but as soon as you get the answer for it, it's like, why didn't I think about that 6 months ago? And it just makes it, you know, now it's easy.
Now it's easy, exactly. Because like you said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, and you had to go through that process.
Yep. And I ended corner pocket left. Let's see. Well, I gotta work on them corner shots. I left too many kids on the table for you.
Yeah. So what you basically had to do was you had to get out of that same thinking that you were used to.
Yep.
And you had to do some research because like you said earlier, things change and there's always a new way of doing things.
And at every level, it's a different way of being successful.
Yeah, it is.
Because what work on a smaller scale is not going to work on a larger scale in most instances.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, maybe some of the principles may matter, but you're going to have to change some things.
Got to change some stuff. Okay. Well, you sure ain't give me no shot. Let's see what I can do with this. Oh, we have to edit all this. Yeah, that's an easy one there for you.
Should be anyway. We won't know until we try, right?
Boy, I can't let him. I'm 6-7-1.
Oh yeah?
7-1. I can't go. It's that yellow ball that's just sitting.
Yeah, it's sitting. It's been there for a minute.
If I could. Got me trapped over there. Last week I had a guest on, man. He just gonna hit that. His name is Rick Bush. You ever heard of Rick Bush?
I haven't.
So Rick Bush owns Primetime Barbershops. And at one point, he had over 30 barbershops right here in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We neighbors, man. Yeah, we neighbors.
Well, I do know Rick. I didn't know that last name. I do know Rick.
Yeah, you go to prime time. And,
Man.
but I didn't know there was so much money in there.
Ah.
I mean, it makes sense when you die, you still gotta look good.
All day long.
Man, it's almost more money in death than it is living.
You better
When
believe
you think about that industry, you think about, I have another friend, his grandfather owned a funeral home in South Carolina for years, man. And they ended up expanding. I think they expanded almost 4 times their business during COVID. Just kind of unfortunate situation.
During COVID.
Yeah.
And during COVID, 40% of salons shut down.
Yeah.
But it was a huge opportunity.
Yeah. Yep. So they went from 2 funeral homes to like 6 funeral homes during that time. Okay, you got a little shot. Yeah, I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see it, Charles.
Overcoming the unknown.
Okay. Man! Okay, it's on you.
Yes, yes.
It's on you for the win.
See.
Like they say in business, it look easy,
Yeah.
but it ain't always easy.
That's right. All right. Ball. Left corner.
Think about it though, if you miss it, man, you know you're gonna set me up for a bunny.
I already know. I'm in the lab right now. Let's see. Yeah. It's.
There go the bunny.
Mm.
Don, you think I can make you walk to that corner pocket over there? I didn't put enough on it. Now they set it up. That's a tough shot, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, it is.
Boy, I thought I had that one.
You know, we were made for this, though.
Okay. The roller.
I think I made it too
Yeah.
easy.
Nah. See, I don't really know my angle, so I'm gonna see if I can't bend that thing over in the corner for game. Oh, I scored! I thought I scratched. Oh man, good game, man.
Good, man.
Doper conversation.
Yes, sir, man.
Man, nice meeting you in person, man.
Likewise,
Appreciate everything you dropped on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Man, tell our viewers, man, where they can find you, where they can link in with you, what you got coming up.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Charles King. First, I want to thank Geno and staff for inviting me out. I really do appreciate that, to share some of our experiences with your audience. So you can find me on all handles, on Facebook, also Instagram and TikTok at Charles CK And also you can find me on YouTube on Charles CK King as well. Looking forward to seeing you on the stage soon. June 1st, we'll start out. I should be in your city or your town. Till next time.
And that's a wrap on the Geno J Show. Until next episode, guys, we'll see you later.